Okay, hello my lovelies. So I'm gonna do something completely out of my comfort zone that I've only done a few times on this channel, but I think it will work and I think people may like it. I found a really light book to read to you all, so if you're having a hard time and you kind of want someone to read you to sleep, watch this video. If you don't like people reading to you, don't bother. But I just found a couple of books that are really light reads that are kind of, they don't have anything to them, they're just silly little stories, and I thought, yes, I want to read them to you in low light while you sleep. So grab yourself a drink or whatever you need before bed. I don't normally wear glasses on my channel because I hate them, but I need them to do this. So the little book that I picked up that I found that I thought we could either read in one go or a couple of slots depending whatever, is Hello Kitty. Now a lot of people like Hello Kitty, so there's a few pictures but the whole book is in black and white, so you're not missing anything by me having the low colour change and light on. It's just to help you to relax. I've tried to make the room as dark as possible, but yeah, so this is the best I can come up with. So the book that I've picked out for everyone is a lovely short read of 96 pages, so I'm sure we'll get through this in a couple of videos, but this will be episode 1. So this is Hello Kitty and Friends, The Big Race, a Hello Kitty adventure, and we have a very lovely cover. And as I say, we have pictures in black and white. I will show them to you. I did pick out a little bookmark. Okay. So I'm fully aware this is a series. I'm not sure. I think these are like one-off stories. So we have Meet Hello Kitty and Friends. We have Hello Kitty, Minnie, Tammy, Fifi, Dear Daniel, Mama, Papa, Grandpa and Grandma. And so I think this has 6 chapters in it. So let me try and work out if this is... Okay. Chapter 1, page 1. Exciting news. Hello Kitty put her books away and started to draw a doodle as the rest of the class finished packing up. She sketched a pretty flower and then turned it into a fluffy pom-pom. She was so busy drawing and colouring in that she nearly didn't hear their class teacher, Miss Daisy. Okay, so I want to show you each illustration. Oop, sorry about that. I have very little space to work with. Sorry, Miss Davy. Tell them she had an important announcement to make. Whoops. Hello Kitty put her pencil down and glanced quickly across the table. Her friends Fifi, Tammy and dear Daniel were all looking expectantly at Miss Davy. Hello, Kitty smiled. These were her best friends, such great friends in fact that they had started a club together. The 4 of them made up the friendship club. They met up all the time to do loads of fun things like crafting and baking and having fashion makeovers. Miss Davy waited until she had the whole class attention, and everyone was completely. I think this is was completely silent before she started to speak. She began by telling them all that there were only 3 days left until half-term holiday, but Hello Kitty and the class already knew that, of course. They knew all what they were going to do in the holidays. Dear Daniel was going away travelling with his dad, but the rest of the friendship club were spending the break at home. They had already made plans for lots of fun things to do together, like sleepovers, makeovers, and trips out. And Hello Kitty couldn't wait. Just then, Miss Davy made her big announcement. The teachers had decided that there was going to be a cross-country race on Friday to finish off the term. And then we have all our characters. With a bang, followed by a family picnic. How super was that? She asked people to put their hands up if they wanted to enter the race. Excited chatter filled the air. Hello Kitty put up her hand, but dear Daniel already had his hand up in the air, and Fifi was quick to join him. Hello Kitty wasn't surprised. Fifi was really sporty, although ice skating was her favourite sport. She was good at running too. As for dear Daniel, he just loved doing anything outdoors. Tammy liked sports too, but she hesitated and looked at Hello Kitty, and then put her hand up. Miss Davy was still talking to the class, explaining how the race would work. It was going to take place in the big town park and would start by the swings and slides, and then they would run through the woods until they came out alongside the lake. So, little illustrations. There would then be a straight sprint to the finish by the picnic area. It was going to be quite a long race. Hello Kitty nudged Tammy and smiled, but Tammy bit her lip and shook her head. She didn't want to go in such a long race. That's a really pretty illustration. Hello Kitty put her hand down and thought hard. She didn't want Tammy to miss out on such a fun event. Looking around, her eyes fell on the pom-poms she had drawn, and suddenly she had one of her special super Hello Kitty ideas. They didn't have to actually run in the race to take part, did they? They could do something else. And there's a little pom-pom drawing. It's so cute. There we go. Instead, maybe she and Tammy could organise a cheerleading team. Excitement rushed through Hello Kitty. There would be costumes to make and dance routines to think up. It would be so much fun. She quickly whispered her plan to Tammy. Tammy beamed, "Why, brilliant idea. But what would Miss Davy think?" Hello Kitty shot her hand up in the air again and waved to get her teacher's attention. Miss Davy smiled and asked her to wait a moment while she finished writing down all her runners' names, and then she returned to Hello Kitty. Hello Kitty sat up straight in her seat and explained her idea. Miss Davy looked thoughtful for a moment, and then she grinned. It wasn't just a good idea. It was a great idea. Hello Kitty grinned straight back. Not just a great idea, but a whole lot of fun too. Okay, chapter 2. Making plans. So these are the illustrations. The very next day, the Friendship Club got to work. Fifi and dear Daniel were going for a run after school to practice for the race, but they said that they would meet at Hello Kitty's house when they had finished. The whole Friendship Club was allowed to stay for dinner too, so they'd all be able to get lots of things done. Hello Kitty and Tammy linked arms and made their way over to the school gates where Mama White was waiting to drive Hello Kitty was waiting to drive them home. Hello Kitty waved goodbye to her twin sister, Minnie was staying on for flute practice with her best friend Alice, so she wasn't coming home with them just then. It did take It didn't take long for Mama White to drive home. Hello Kitty and Tammy jumped out of the car, burst through the front door and ran straight through to the living room and put on a cheerleading DVD that Hello Kitty had got for her birthday. They wanted to get started. They had decided they needed to practice some cheerleading moves before they could put together an actual routine. Concentrating hard, the two friends worked their way through a start jump, a high V where they put their arms above their heads, and a low upside down V where they put their hands down by their sides. There was a lot of clapping as well as practicing different shapes, like the T shape with their arms straight out from their sides, and another one where they pumped their arms into fists. The DVD got a lot more complicated after that. With a lot of different cheerleaders performing the same moves but on different beats of the music. Whew. Hello Kitty and Tammy agreed that they could work on that later. They would just try out the easy stuff for now. Tammy looked thoughtful. She looked at Hello Kitty and asked what music she thought they would dance to. Hello Kitty pulled out her music player and scrolled through to her favourite band, the Fizzy Pops. They were the best. She put on one of her favourite songs, Falling Star, and then she and Tammy stood in front of the big living room mirror and started to put all the moves they had learned together into a real routine. First a high V clap, then a low V clap. They spun and twirled, jumping into a T shape, and then breaking the motion by pumping their arms in the next position. Now they bent and touched down to the ground and back up again, finishing off with a big star jump into the air. We're doing well, we're on page 27 already. Phew. It was thirsty work. Luckily, just then Mama came in with some lemonade and fruity flapjacks. Yummy. They ate their snacks and started practicing again, adding in some more steps between the jumps. They were going to have to practice doing their routine holding pom-poms too. Hello Kitty grabbed a couple of cushions from the sofa and handed them to Tammy. They didn't exactly look like pom-poms, but they would have to do for now. Tammy giggled as Hello Kitty led the way. They jumped back into a V, marched 3 steps forward, and then 3 steps back, and then they twisted to the right, waving the cushions in the air. At first, the two girls found it hard to keep their moves in time to the music and to each other. When Hello Kitty turned one way, Tammy turned the other. The next thing they knew, they were in a tangle on the floor. They looked at each other and burst out laughing. Listen, I told you it was light and fluffy. Okay, so that wasn't quite right, but it was a start. And they were having a lot of fun. 1, 2, 1, 2. They tried again. At that moment, Mama came back in. She wanted to know how they were getting on. Hello Kitty told her that they had almost got one routine worked out. Would Mama please watch? And tell them what she thought, she asked. Mama settled down into the big armchair as the girls started their routine. They spun and clapped at the end At the end, Mama gave them a big round of applause. She thought it was wonderful. Hello Kitty wasn't sure though. It had been okay, but something was bothering her. What? Was she still missing from their routine? Sorry, what was still missing from their routine? At that moment, the doorbell rang and Mama got up to answer it. It was Minnie. Alice's mother had dropped her back. Minnie, Minnie watched the routine as they had a second practice. Then she asked if she could join in. Of course she could. Hello Kitty and Tammy quickly taught Minnie the moves, and they ran through the routine again, seeing Minnie beside. And there's a lovely picture of them all dancing. Sorry, bear with me, just have to bend the book. Tammy made Hello Kitty realise that what it was that had been bothering her, the whole cheerleading routine, was so much better when Minnie was in it too. They needed more people. Maybe they could pursue Fifi and Dear Daniel to do it with them instead of running the race. Mama gently pointed out that it wouldn't be very fair to ask them not to run the race, as they loved running and they were practicing hard. Surely there must be other people at school who didn't like running in races, she suggested, and who would join in with Hello Kitty and Tammy. Cheerleading was so much fun. Mama thought hard. Why didn't they put up a poster to try and get some more people that way, she said. Hello Kitty and Tammy smiled. They thought it was a great idea at that moment. The doorbell rang and Minnie ran to open it. It was dear Daniel and Fifi, just in time to help design the posters. Mama said she would leave them all to do it while she cooked dinner. Hello Kitty went to the cupboard and pulled out her box of crafting materials. It was all the stuff they needed to make their posters. Totally brilliant. So on the next page it says we have starry stickers, glue, glitter pens and scissors. Right. If Fifi and dear Daniel didn't mind working on the poster, Hello Kitty and Tammy would make some real pom-poms to replace the cushions they had been practicing with. Hello Kitty started pulling out creeper paper. There were so many colours to choose from: bright pink, orange, yellow. Eventually they settled on orange. Hello Kitty put a batch of sheets together and then she started to fold it backwards and forwards into folds like on a something, straightening out each layer with a ruler. When she had finished, she folded it in half and Tammy tied a piece of string around the middle. They snipped the top off each end at the slant and started to pull each layer back into puffs. Ta-da! After a while, Tammy proudly held up a perfectly formed round orange pom-pom. Fifi and dear Daniel clapped, Tammy smiled, and then they set to work making some more, while Hello Kitty made a start on designing the rest of their cheerleading costumes. At last, it was nearly dinner time before they all went through to the kitchen. They showed Mama what they had been doing. Mama loved the poster and the pom-poms. Hello Kitty held up the costume design she had decided on: little yellow skirts and orange tops with bows to match their pom-poms. Mama thought the designs were super. Hello Kitty hoped they would be the perfect outfits to cheer on her friends. And not just to cheer on her friends, Mama Wright reminded them all that there was going to be a mum and a dad race too, and that she and Papa Wright were going to enter. She looked a bit worried about it. She wasn't all that good at running, so she hoped she wouldn't let the side down. Hello Kitty gave her mum a big hug. She could never let the side down, and besides, wasn't Mama always telling her that it was the taking part and not the winning that mattered? So here's a little poster. Mama gave her daughter a big squeeze too and nodded. Hello Kitty beamed. There was so much to organise, but it was going to be so much fun. Hooray. So that was the first 2 chapters in the book, and I am planning on finishing this book. Any support is very much appreciated. I do have an LD, so I struggle with this type of thing, and I'm hoping this will improve it. But I'm hoping this video helped you in some way and helped you to sleep the low light. So thank you very much for watching episode 1.